Good day. Today we're going to take a look at some basic Liquid templating, and we're going to end this session with building a left side navigation for our portal webpage. A few objectives for today. We're going to be able to identify where Liquid code documentation is located and how to navigate the documentation to find the Liquid code examples. We're going to understand a few Liquid basics and where Liquid code can be applied and how do we apply it. And we're going to end with building a custom web template using an example from the online documentation. Our use case today, we've started using Power Apps portals. We've heard about Liquid templating and we want to learn a little bit more about it. So we found the left side navigation example and we decided to give it a go. In the image below, you can see that the menu across the top is also duplicated on the left-hand side. So where can my Liquid code go? It can go on web pages in the copy section. It can go in the custom JavaScript section of things like web pages, lists, basic forms, and advanced forms. It can go in a web template. We also see a little bit of IntelliSense show up in a web template, and it can also go in content snippets. Some Liquid basics. Liquid code executes server side versus client side. Our Liquid code, you'll see it's encapsulated in mustache brackets with % signs. In this example, you can see we've got a simple Liquid statement that opens with a mustache bracket or curly brace %, and then we have an assign, and we have a variable name, my variable pi, and we're assigning my variable pi a value of 3.14, and then we close that. So the Liquid is right here. Liquid is made up of tags, objects, and filters, and we'll talk a little bit more about those as we go through the examples, but you can see that in the documentation online, and we'll point that out. So how do we get started with Liquid? Well, one place we can start with Liquid is the web page copy section, the first place we said that Liquid could go. Here's an example, and we'll use this in the demo where we check to see if a user is logged in. If they're logged in, we put their name. If they're not logged in, if else, then we'll just say hello. And you can see in the screenshot on the right that we've had the portal say hello Kurt Reynolds when he logs in. Interesting fact, Liquid was originally developed by Shopify, and if you search Liquid on the web, you'll find a host of documentation, a lot of it surrounding Shopify and other online web implementations. The Power Apps documentation that I'm going to show you contains the portal's implementation of Liquid. And in my opinion, it's the best place on the web for Liquid documentation. In our demo today, we're going to see Liquid documentation, customization points, simple homepage modification with Liquid. We're going to build a left nav template and apply that to a web page. And we'll test and demonstrate that left nav template. So we're going to start with taking a look at portal documentation. We're going to go look at portal management and see where we can apply Liquid templating. A couple of ways to get the portal documentation. If we start with Portal Management Studio and we click on the Help in the upper right, you'll see it will take us directly to the Power Apps portal documentation. Now, once we're in the Power Apps portal documentation, we need to look for the developer section. And in the developer section, there's a section on working with Liquid templates. There's an overview. I'm not going to go through all these, but if you go through the different sections, you'll find some examples. And in these examples are very straightforward. You can copy the code and you can test them out. The one place we're going to go today, the use case today, is to build a custom template and we want to create a web template that creates a left-hand navigation. So we're going to come into this section a bit later, and we're going to execute this example and create a page with left-hand navigation. So that's the documentation. We can find the Liquid documentation underneath the section for developers. So back to the Portal Management Studio, there's several places we mentioned where Liquid code can go. One is the web page copy section. If I open a web page, let's open the tickets page. I'm going to go to the localized content, and then I'm just going to show you where the copy section is. So this is, you can see it says copy. I go to the HTML tab or the designer tab, and you can see that there's even some Liquid code here in this section. The other place it can go is in the custom JavaScript section. On a web page, custom JavaScript is here. On a list, let's open this list. On a list, the custom JavaScript section is under the Options tab. We could have Liquid in there, maybe modifying colors and list rows. Our basic forms have a custom JavaScript section where we could put Liquid. So we go to the basic form. Let's just open a ticket create form, it doesn't really matter. And there's an additional settings tab. And on this form, if we go all the way to the bottom of the additional settings tab, you'll see there's also a custom JavaScript section. Advanced forms have a similar section. If we look in an advanced form step, under the form options tab, down at the bottom there's custom JavaScript. So web templates also, this is where we get the term Liquid template. You can see this is an out-of-the-box template. Contains both HTML and Liquid code. You can see the mustache brackets or curly braces and the percent signs. Different things going on there in the web template. There's also something called a content snippet. We can place both HTML and Liquid in a content snippet. This one doesn't have any Liquid in here, but we could put Liquid code in the content snippet if we wanted. So that's the different places in the portal where we can inject Liquid code. So here's the home page on our portal, and there's a couple of places we can modify the home page, but we're going to go to the copy section of the home page, and right above this we're going to put some Liquid code, and we're going to have that Liquid code right out a line above this. So let's go to our portal management app. We'll go to web pages. We'll go to the home page. We'll go to our localized content. And then we'll go to the HTML section. And this is where the words are. And we're going to put something in here. So I have a Liquid example that we're going to use. In this particular example, we have a Liquid statement which says if user. In Liquid code, that tells us whether or not somebody is logged in. If they're not logged in, this will evaluate as false. So if user, then we're going to put in this information in an H1 tag. H1 is just a header element. It'll be bigger and more visible. And the other text on the page is in an H1 tag also. So we're going to say hello, that's just text. And then we're going to look at this Liquid object called user, and we're going to get the user's full name. If this evaluates as false, it'll fall into the else, and we're just going to write the word hello, and then we'll end the if statement. So let's copy this. Let's put it into our template. And now whatever evaluates will be right above this in the template. So let's save it. We'll go back to our Portal Management Studio. You've seen this before. We're going to open the studio. We have a Browse Website button in the upper right. Browse Website button launches our portal and clears the cache at the same time. Sometimes when you're making changes and testing and changes and testing and changes and testing, you do it so fast that the code doesn't have a chance to catch up. So now our portal launches and you can see that it says hello. It says hello because there's nobody logged in. If I log in, I'm going to log in with my Azure AD account. And you can see now that we're logged in, it says hello Kurt Reynolds. So just a very straightforward example of how we can modify our home page using Liquid Code and maybe customize it a bit. Now that we've been through some Liquid basics, we're going to move into attempting to build the left nav into our portal. So when we go to our portal, we have a page called Tickets. And I think what I'd like to do is build the left nav template and apply it to the Tickets page. So when I click on the Tickets page, I'll have this navigation that's across the top show up on the left-hand side. So let's give that a go. We'll close our portal and we'll start in our Portal Management Studio, and we need to go to the documentation. So we'll click on the help in the upper right. It'll launch the Power Apps Portals documentation. And we're going to go down to the developer section, working with Liquid, creating custom page template. Now, as we scroll through this, we need to do three things. We need to create a 2-column layout template. We need to create a WebLinks left nav template. We need to create a page template that uses our WebLinks left nav template. Then we need to create a web page. We're going to use our Tickets web page. And we need to modify the Tickets web page and point it to the navigation that we want to be our left nav. And then we should see something similar to this. So, first web template, 2-column layout. We'll copy the code. Go to our Portal Management Studio, Web Templates, New. We'll call this 2-column layout. Point to our website, plug in our source code, and hit save. Now this template has a bit of HTML and a bit of Liquid in it. A couple of sections that are important are these block sections. Blocks are sections that you can replace when you implement this template. And we're going to see this sidebar and this content sections get modified in our next web template. So we'll go back to our instructions and we're going to create a new web template that extends that template we just built. And it's going to be called WebLinks and left nav. So we'll copy that code. We'll save and close this. Go to new. This will be called WebLinks left nav. Again, the website. And then we'll paste the source code in here. And similar to what I pointed out before, you can see we have a sidebar block here, but it all has all this code in it. So it's going to take this 2-column layout template that we build, and it's going to replace what's in the sidebar with this code, which is going to loop through the links in the link set that we specify. And it's going to put the link in the sidebar, and it's going to put the content on the right-hand side. So we'll save and close this. Back to our instructions, we need to create a new page template. And we'll call this Web Links Left Nav. Page templates, new. Web Links Left Nav. We'll point it to our website. It's a web template. And the web template is the Web Links Left Nav. And we do want to use the header and footer. That will give you the view you're consistent with, but it'll include the website header and footer. So we'll save and close this. We'll go back to our instructions. Now it says we need to create a web page. We've already got a web page. We're going to point our web page to the template. And in the localized content section, we're going to point to primary navigation. So let's go to our web pages. Our tickets page, the help desk tickets page. We're going to remove the custom full page template, and we're going to point it to the Web Links Left Nav. We'll save it. And we're going to go to the content page and make sure that's been updated. Web Links Left Nav. Now we're on the content page. And we're going to go down and find this section. And it's down here near the bottom of the form. And it's called Navigation. And we're going to click on Primary Navigation. Okay. If you miss this step, it will not work. And the reason it won't work is because inside of the web template, it assigns the web link ID from the navigation that's specified on the page. So that last step is key. One thing I'm going to do before we test this is I'm going to put some text in the copy section of the web page for tickets. And I'm going to put this here because the web template itself is going to display the page copy section. You remember from the web template for Left Nav, it's going to display the copy section. And we want to see what that copy section looks like and where it shows up when our Left Nav is being displayed. So now we're going to test our custom web page and see what the Left Nav looks like. So we'll browse our website from Portal Studio. We'll need to sign in. Now that I'm signed in, we can click on the tickets page. So when we're on the tickets page, we can see that we have our left-hand navigation. And because we have tickets selected on the left, we can see the web page copy section here on the right. But our tickets page has an entity list associated with it. So what we'd like to do is get that entity list to display on the right. Since this is made by the web template, we'll need to go back to the web template and make some modifications. So we go to the web template, Web Links Left Nav. This is just purely showing what's in the copy section of the web template. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a shortcut and we're going to use the default studio template code. We're not going to modify this template, but we're going to copy this code so it will include the page copy, and we're going to make some modifications to what's in the page copy to show our entity list. So we'll go back to the web links left nav. We'll put this code in here. We'll save it. And now we're going to go to another web template called the full page template. I'm going to go to the full page template because it's got some code in it. And this is the code we want. We want to include the entity list. So let's copy this. Now let's go to our web page. Help desk tickets. We're going to go to the localized content. And you can see we have a list associated with this. We're going to take this out. I'm going to go to the HTML tab. And we want to include entity list. And then it'll get the ID of the list from what's specified on the page. So we'll save and close this. We'll close this, and now we'll browse our portal. And now when we click on tickets, instead of seeing page copy, we see this list. See, this is the behavior that we desire. We're on the tickets page. We have our list here on the right-hand side. Now, if I click any of these other pages, it'll take me back to the top menu experience. But if I click on the tickets page, it'll leave me here. So one thing I'm going to show you, and I've done this before, is when I click on tickets on the left, I get the experience I expect. When I click on Contact Us, I'd also like to have the left nav and just have the Contact Us form show up. So let's go take a look at how we can do that, and that'll be the bonus for today. So we'll go back to our Portal Management Studio. Let's find the Contact Us page. And we're going to remove the default studio template. And we're going to put in the web links left nav. We're going to go to the localized content, make sure it's pointing at web links left nav. And now we need to go to the copy section and make sure that it's going to show us what we want to show. In this particular case, it's showing us an entity form with the name Contact Us. So I think in theory this should work. The only other thing is the modification we made to actually point it to primary navigation. Now, one thing I'll point out here, if you built your own navigation links, when you went to the Contact Us page, the left nav would look different than the primary nav. But let's give this a test and see how it goes. So close our portal, go back to here. And now when we clicked on Contact Us, it should render the primary nav on the left-hand side. And the Contact Us form on the right-hand side. So let's point out why this is important. So now when I click on tickets, it shows me my tickets. And when I click on Contact Us, it's going to create the appearance of just changing the content on the right-hand side. So I really like that. And again, we could have other navigation links here, but this creates a, I don't know, it's kind of like a single page experience where I'm not going to another page, I'm just working with what's on the right hand side. Anything you can put in a web page in the portal, you can put on the right hand side here. We'll leave the home link alone so it takes us back to home. So let's check our notes to see if we checked all the boxes. We did look at Liquid documentation. We looked at Liquid customization points. We did a simple home page modification with Liquid. We went through building a left nav template and troubleshooting when things didn't go right. And then we tested and demonstrated the left nav template. And as a bonus, we modified 2 pages so we could create an application where the links on the left just give us the content on the right. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I think the left nav is a great experience for the portal, and hopefully you can work it into your portals also.